And welcome back to a fantasy football podcast. I'm your host, Jono, and as always, my co-host, Chris here. We're going to do a quick little episode on the Jonathan Taylor news. For those who are watching and have not heard or found this channel, I will say that Jonathan Taylor has requested a trade earlier in this offseason, and the Colts have granted him his trade request. So his agent is currently talking with other teams and beginning to reach out to see what the offers could possibly be. The Colts are asking for a first-round pick or a package that is equivalent to a first-round pick. So we're talking about sort of Christian McCaffrey type of trade here is what they're looking for. Now, as a reminder, Jonathan Taylor is in his last year of his contract. He was a second-round running back, so he does not have a fifth-year option going into this fourth year of his career. Last year, in his third year of his career, we saw a dip in his numbers. Not only that, an injury, but the dip in his numbers came in his yards per carry and his yards per reception. However, those numbers still were on pace to be equal or not better than his rookie year numbers, where he was RB4 on the season in standard and RB6 in PPR. The hard part was the Colts were not scoring touchdowns. And because they were not scoring touchdowns, they did not get to the average that he was having in the previous two seasons. Obviously, 18 rushing in 2021 and 11 in his rookie season. He only had 4 to cap the season off in 11 games. So, Chris, what's your thoughts here on the impact of this news, not only for the Colts, but who do you see willing to give up all of that capital for Jonathan Taylor, or a team that's in need in kind of a win-now mode for the next 2, 3, 4 seasons?
Yeah, I mean, you look last year at why the Christian McCaffrey trade worked, and it's because San Francisco needed a running back, right? And they felt that they were one piece away from making a run. And, if Brock Purdy didn't get hurt in the championship game, we could have seen them in the Super Bowl. So for Jonathan Taylor, what he means to the Colts is it's a huge impact and going to be a huge loss if he does get traded. Their running back room right now there's not a lot of veteran experience there, and the veteran experience that they do have there, they're young and unproven, and for Anthony Richardson to develop, I think that they really need to emphasize the running game and take a lot off of his shoulders in year one. And without Jonathan Taylor there, it's all on him, and it's going to be a huge learning curve. Because he's not going to have that consistent run game. He's going to have to be the run game. I mean, you look at Deion Jackson and Evan Hull. Yeah, there's not a lot of talent. I mean, there's talent there, but there's just not a lot of veteran bodies there, and
not a lot of trust either.
Yeah, not a lot of trust, and so even at this point late in camp, I mean, if they were to trade him, who do they sign there to go? I mean, there's Leonard Fournette, there's Kareem Hunt, there's guys that they can bring in. But
I was going to say Kareem Hunt's already visited with them.
Yeah,
if you remember. So I think Kareem Hunt is probably the most likely one. But I think Leonard Fournette's not a bad option here to get a 1-year cheap contract veteran presence. But I think Kareem Hunt's going to be the one that they sign in confidence at this point.
Yeah, it's just a huge loss for this offense, and this is what we were kind of talking about a couple weeks ago when we talked about him. Is that this is a lot more than I think that there was a lot more going on, and we saw that with like all the excused absences and the injury brought up. Hey, listen, even if he gets traded, he needs to pass a physical. I mean, he's still injured right now.
He still scares me. I said this before. Between him and Josh Jacobs, he was the one of the two running backs that scared me the most.
Yeah, and I don't know what team is going to like this. I've been kind of racking my brain since the news came out, and like what team would give up a first round or a package similar to a first round for him. And yeah, you could talk about like the most likely candidate is Miami, but there's Baltimore too. Like Baltimore could, if J.K. Dobbins is still, he got taken off the PUP list this week, and there's some injury concern there. So, but he's a year left into his contract, so that means you're either going to have to restructure it, but who knows if he even passes a physical and what his health is right now. The Colts have come out multiple times saying he has a low back injury. Then Taylor comes out and says he doesn't. So there's some discrepancy from Taylor and then the medical staff there, or ownership who is getting direction from a medical staff. I just it was so rare to see McCaffrey go for what he went for, just to see any running back go for that kind of value.
It was
Typically,
almost equivalent to the Deshaun Watson signing with the guaranteed money. Is it ruined the market? Like no running back is going to get the only difference is no running back is going to get that value that McCaffrey ever got, and it sucks because it was a lot. I mean, he's worth it, but it's a lot versus Deshaun Watson situation. I mean, now everybody's asking for that guaranteed money on the QB side. To me, with the Jonathan Taylor situation, I agree with you with Miami is probably the most likely candidate. However, if they didn't want to sign Dalvin Cook and offer Dalvin Cook enough money on a short, cheaper contract, what makes you think they're going to want to give up draft capital on top of then having to sign him to a long-term contract? Yeah, he's only 24 years old, so he's young, but I mean, come on. That's a lot to give up.
And this is the same thing, the same argument that I made with Dalvin Cook. It really doesn't make sense in that backfield. They have three guys there that are all going to be pieces of the puzzle. Like, so you're going to sign a guy, you're going to trade away a lot of draft capital. You're going to sign a guy for what does he want? 12 million, 13 million a year. When you're paying guys much lower than that, I can't see a team like, in all honesty, I see JT either playing with the Colts or not playing.
Yeah. I think the most likely scenario is he doesn't play. I think the Colts don't put him on the field. They don't play him. And they let him walk as a free agent. Or they don't even activate him. He doesn't get paid. It's not an active season. And then they try and trade him next year. Like, I don't know what the scenario is going to be. I just don't see a clear route to the field for him because he soured the pond here. Like,
barring an injury, barring a major injury to one of the running backs, I just don't see him going anywhere. Like, I would have said actually a good spot for him to go to is Vegas. But Josh Jacobs, another big news today, is Josh Jacobs is returning to Vegas. And he's going to play for the Raiders this year.
Well, sources are saying he should be returning before week 1. We don't know if that means he's playing week 1 or not or anything, but still, that's good news for the Raiders fans and Raiders Nation. It's good news for people who took a chance in best ball on Josh Jacobs, and it's great news for people who haven't even drafted yet because we're going to have some more clarity in the upcoming week. But this is even more muddy news with the Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what to make of it. Feel free. I mean, keep an eye on us. You know, like I said, I've always said here, like and subscribe, hit the notification button, because when the news breaks, we're going to drop our opinions on it too and where we'd be taking them right now. And as far as it goes, I'm not touching Jonathan Taylor in a draft with a 10-foot pole at this point. Even if if he drops to the 8th round, okay, I'll take a shot on him if he gets traded somewhere, if I'm drafting tomorrow. But right now, I'd rather not have nothing to do with him. And if you have him in best ball, like, you are sweating bullets at this point because you probably got him in the first 3 rounds. So
take what you can get from him.
Exactly. Take what you can get. So more to come on that news. That being said, right now, Deion Jackson and Evan Hull are the 2 healthy running backs there. Jake Funk is another guy who got some carries against Buffalo. Deion Jackson obviously is, to me, the one who's going to get the first touch, but Evan Hull is just as talented as him as a rookie. Zach Moss did break his arm, and he will be healthy and coming back at some point in the season. And I think he would take over the initial downs once he is back and healthy, because he looked pretty good for them at the end of last year when Taylor was out. So keep an eye on the news, keep an eye on our notifications, so that when we drop any more Jonathan Taylor news, along with what we will be dropping as well, our mock-a-thon mock draft for this week, so that you can see. The
mock-a-thon continues.
So you can see where, based on where you're drafting, what we think and what the best options may be for our mock drafts. So thanks for tuning in. More Jonathan Taylor news to come in the future, and we'll be happy to pass it along. Thank you.